Cause if you really fuck with me the way you say you fuck with me, then fuck with me the way you say you fuck with me. Yeah. Cause you gon' have to make it up to me the way you say you make it up to me if you fuck up with me.
All right, so let's get into a little bit of, about like sort of the nuts and bolts of music.
Yeah.
The first thing I'm just wondering, Leaf, when it comes to just music publishing administration, how did you educate yourself on the ins and outs of that aspect of the game?
I read a lot of books. A lot of my experience came through life experience. I also know people in the industry, so I asked for their help and I asked for their advice on things all the time. Some by getting fucked over, some by just learning on my own, and then others by seeing others' experiences, my friends who are artists around me, and asking them what their stuff looks like and how should I do this and how should I do that. So it's like a lot of just all around advice.
All right.
Yeah.
So right from the jump, though, you knew that that was an aspect of the game that you had to...
Of course, I think with any industry, it's business and the creative side. And I think anybody coming into music should know that it's not just music. It's music business. It's art business, it's fashion business. So if you're going into a business of anything, then it should be the creative field you love, but also the business field that you love. Not that I love the music business, but you know.
Business is part of it.
Business is part of it.
What is your writing process? Do you sit down with a pen? Like, how do you write?
My writing process has evolved over time. When I was younger, I would write. I've been writing music since I was 6. I know people are like, how? I would write stupid songs, though, like in my diary, like, my mom told me to clean my room. Like, it was about like stuff like that. But I had been writing my entire life. I even wanted to be like a poet at a certain time. And from there, I had a very like, I guess, analytical, I don't know if analytical is the term, but it was very heavy, thought heavy, the process I was going through. And I moved to Atlanta and I seen the process of a bunch of my rapper friends and how they literally would go in the booth and they'd just freestyle. And I was like, I want to get good at that. Like, I want to be so good that I just step into the booth and I freestyle and then that's my song. So that's my process now. I literally just go into the booth and I just, whatever happens, happens.
So it's not, you don't write before, you just, wow,
Not
that's
really.
amazing.
Sometimes I write in my phone just to have like lyrics for later, but I go into the booth, I lay down melodies, and then I continue the melodies until I find lyrics, and then if I want to change the lyrics, I'll change them up. But I just stop writing first. Like, if I'm in a car and I get like inspiration, then I'll like do a voice note and write down some lyrics that I got in my head. But for the most part, I freestyle from now.
Do you, how are you, where are you involved as far as production is concerned?
I try to be involved in the majority of my production, whether it's just taking the stems and eliminating parts of the stems, making the beat from scratch myself, co-producing with a producer. But I've just found over time, when you have a clear artistic vision, people around you don't always get the concept immediately. So you have to go and make it your own afterwards, or make it your own during the process, or just make it your own in general. From scratch.
You're so confident, Leaf. Are you like a firstborn child?
I'm firstborn, yeah.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah, and I have 7 siblings, so you know.
Oh, so that's part of what the boss comes from. I have this theory, like firstborns do tend to be this sort of like natural born
Leaders,
bosses.
yeah, for sure.
Do you have like a go-to recording meal or drink or anything like that?
I like to not eat before I record, honestly, because I find that when you don't have anything, like for me as a singer, when I don't have anything that is creating gas or mucus in my body, it's easier for me to get out the notes that I want to get out.
Okay. And I know you're a vegan.
Yeah, I'm vegan.
What about what about Trinity? It's your next...
Trinity, yeah. Trinity is so amazing. I'm so excited about this project. I've been working on it for about 1.5 years, which is insane. Literally ranging everywhere. It talks about vulnerability and being confident as a woman and finding yourself, being high and never wanting to come down from the high that you're feeling. Literally, I touch on so many topics in this project, and mostly it's just about being a boss bitch, because that's what I'm about. But at the end of the day and throughout the whole process, I've just found, I guess it's kind of like a revealing of me, a revealing of who I am at this time in life.
Do you have some ideas about when it's going to drop, or?
This summer.
Oh, this summer.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like, what are some of the things that impact when an album is dropped? If it's done,
For me, it's so complicated. I mean, I'm sure other people have it way more complicated. I'm lucky that I'm independent and that I make majority of my deadlines and that I don't have to focus on so many other people, but it's literally the producers agreeing and then getting it mastered and getting it mixed and then having Fool's Gold put a deadline and RPM have a deadline and then my deadline and then music videos and then getting someone to promote it with us, and it's just so much shit. And then getting the label to finally just like put it on iTunes, you know what I mean? It's like a whole process of just getting your music to be ready to debut it and then throwing a release party and then releasing the music.
Oh, that is really a lot of.
It is a lot.
It's a lot of coordination and timing.
Exactly.
I wanted to ask you, what do you think about music business as it relates to streaming services? Do you feel like that's a place where?
I think streaming is the new radio.
Okay.
In my opinion, I think streaming is the next version of radio. I think radio is definitely still a platform that works very well and is effective, but I think that streaming is going to maybe not even take over, because maybe even radio stations will go to streaming, you know? But I think that streaming is definitely the way people get their music out today, you know? Started with SoundCloud. SoundCloud was a pivotal point for not only me, but I'm sure many artists. And then Spotify, and then all these different platforms. So
is it a way where an independent artist can make some money too?
Yeah, no, you definitely make money off of streaming. And if you don't yet, you should figure out how you can.
Okay. I want to get into touring, because that's another really important way for artists to make money.
Touring is so important.
There was a little bit of controversy around Rolling Loud. It's a hip hop festival in Miami. You played there last year. There were like 54 artists in total, and only like 3 or 4 of them were female.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up when you asked me about it.
All right.
I did Rolling Loud the year before, and I was the only female on the lineup.
You were the only?
The only. I think maybe it was me and one other girl, but I'm not even sure if there was another girl. And when I did my set, they didn't announce my set, and Uzi was performing at the same time as me, and they announced Uzi's set. So everybody from my set went over to Uzi's set. And the only person who watched my show, which God bless him, was Yachty. Lil Yachty watched my entire show.
Amazing.
And I wanted to cry so bad afterwards. But it was the sweetest thing ever. And that's actually how like the whole song thing happened.
With Yachty.
Yeah, exactly. And such a sweet guy. It's just really, it's fucked up, but it is true that hip hop is predominantly male at this time. And the fan base is predominantly male at this time. Even though there are girls who go and listen to hip hop, they're not the ones buying all the tickets. Like at these shows, it is pretty much 75% male, if not more than that, you know? So being a female in hip hop and knowing how Rolling Loud works, I don't blame the people who throw the event, but I do blame just how hip hop is set up at this moment. There needs to be a bigger fan base for females, and there needs to be a bigger platform for females in hip hop and in urban music. Okay. I think in other like R&B, other stuff like that, there is a bigger platform for women, but as far as hip hop, there really just isn't.
I just feel like, I don't know, like if 25% of the fan base is male, then 25% of the performers should be female, no?
I think so too, but you know, you're asking a female hip hop artist. I would love if it was a vast majority of women. You know what I mean? I love going to see women perform, and I would go to these shows to see women perform. But I think when your ticket sales are evaluated based on who's going to sell out the event, they kind of have to pick. I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you. It is complicated.
Yeah.
You know, there is no simple answer.
Exactly. But I do think that Rolling Loud needs to get it together and book me. So even though they did book me before, I'd be down to do the festival
book you
next
again?
year. Before I get too famous, you know.